Life was hard.
We didn't have but one fireplace, and we had to study at night by lamplight in that fireplace.
Times was hard then. I mean, it was hard work. Oh, you just don't know how hard the work was.
It was what I would call the old days, but we lived.
It was a simpler time. By simple, I don't mean easier, just that we did what we had to do to get by each day. Everyone worked hard because, well, you had to. When I look back now, I'm not sure how we got it all done, but we did. Everyone had jobs to do to keep the farm going.
I was in the dairy business when I milked by hand. My wife and I had about 10 cows, and we milked by hand.
Everyone had to pitch in. Even the little ones helped out.
The children got up one night and washed our clothes by Lineman and went to school. Got them all washed and put on the line before we went to school.
Days were filled with the chores of living. Drawing water, chopping wood, feeding the animals, working the fields, tending the garden. Evenings seemed to come just as quickly, and just like we started the day, we would once again stoke the fire and light the kerosene lamp as we got ready for bed. Sometimes we'd try to read by the dim glow of the lamp for a short while, but we would soon settle in to be ready for the morning to come again. Change was all around us, but it never seemed to come near enough to make a difference.
We had electric lights, and we lived in town. And I knew what we were missing, but I didn't know to the extent that how the people lived in the country until we moved here, and how hard things were for them.
Then one day word came, and this kind of word traveled fast. It was coming. I remember, for the days that followed after that were never the same. It was coming. Soon workers started digging holes and stringing wire for long stretches.
They signed us up before the lines were built, and sometimes it was hard for them to get enough. Farmers that lived out in isolated areas, but they got enough down by our farm to build a line, and that was a new day for us in Sluter County.
Everybody got busy, started wiring the houses to be ready for the lights to come on. And those poles would go through the fields, through the pastures, clearing through the forest, and so we would take an afternoon ride to see just where the line was at that time.
Lights turned on July the 2nd, 1941, at 20 minutes till 6 p.m.
I don't remember anything about that day, but I remember vividly that night. That was the first time we could flip a switch and have a room lighted.
It was just like coming from darkness to light as the sun come up in the morning. It was beautiful.
And I can remember how bright that room was. So that we went to every room and turned on the light. And that was the first time we had ever had our house all lighted at night. And that really changed our lifestyle. Because then at night we could read, sew, do handwork, and most of all, we could listen to a radio. That was a big entertainment for us. The next day, my father went to town and bought a pump for the well. Had it installed with 2 spigots, one for the lot for the animals. And you don't know what a workload that took off my father. So we were in high cotton. We had lights, water, indoor bathroom, and all those nice things. Everything was good.
Every time we'd get a new improvement, it looked like we were in a new world. We were so happy to have it and to discard that old way of doing it. and getting a new way of doing it with electricity. Wonderful, wonderful.
It's hard for us to imagine our day-to-day lives without electricity. We pretty much take for granted now that we can walk into a room, flip the switch, and the lights come on.
Appliances and gadgets that our grandparents could only dream of now have become necessities and run without any thought or action from us, and again are now the norm. Kitchens that bake our food and wash our dishes at the push of a button, washers and dryers that make laundry almost an afterthought rather than a chore, air conditioning and heating units that adjust to our desired comfort, water, hot or cold, on command at the touch of your hand, smartphones, tablets, TVs, and devices of every description are now commonplace. We take for granted that affordable and reliable power is always there, pausing only to reflect when there's an interruption in service. We have these luxuries now because 75 years ago, some very determined and progressive South Carolinians came together to form the state's first not-for-profit electric cooperatives. Without a doubt, it was important to bring electricity to these individual homes and businesses in the rural areas, but there was a great deal more vision behind the task of setting poles and stringing wire from house to house. There was more happening here than just the warm glow of lights.
These cooperative efforts were about making a way where most people said it didn't make good business sense. Now, to be sure, they were turning the lights on in people's homes, but they were also empowering communities to dream beyond what they'd ever been before. 75 years later, Mid-Carolina Electric Cooperative is still about making those dreams a reality day after day.
It's just like a new day had come to us here in Sluter County when REA lines were built in this area. Rural Electrification Association of South Carolina, REA.
On June 20th, 1940, at a meeting in Batesburg, South Carolina, 11 men incorporated Mid-Carolina Electric Cooperative. Then on October 14th of that same year, we were granted our first loan to finance the construction of power lines in the surrounding areas. As with any large undertaking, there would be obstacles to overcome. Lack of supplies and manual labor made progress slow during the war years, but they were determined and work moved ahead. And soon electricity became more and more commonplace, and the community served began to prosper.
It was just improvements coming gradually all along during my life. And I saw all of that from the old primitive ways of living to a pretty high-class way of living.
From those original 945 members, Mid-Carolina has now grown to over 54,000 active accounts and almost 4,200 miles of line, serving Lexington, Richland, Saluda, Aiken, and Newberry counties. As our member base continues to grow, so does our vision for the future. We are excited about the growth and the opportunities all around us and remain committed to meeting the needs of our members, both residential and commercial. Award-winning schools, new neighborhoods, and incoming industries have continued to bolster the economic success of our communities. Mid-Carolina Electric Cooperative will continue to be on the forefront of growth and change that comes with these opportunities. But there is one thing that remains the same: our unwavering commitment to our members and our community as a whole.
I can recall one night we were up in the Hollywood section and putting a line up, and those people cooked us a meal about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning out there in their garage.
It's a family, and that's what the difference is. Closer knit group, a family, everybody looking out for the members of the co-op, and I've seen how really, really important it was to provide good, reliable energy at a reasonable cost, and that's the top priority of the cooperatives.
As we boldly move forward, it is important to remember where we came from and the commitment to success that has guided our last 75 years. In 1940, 11 people came together. They saw a need, and they were willing to step up, step in close, and make a difference. And we still do.
How can I help you this morning?
Our employees step up every day and are uncommonly dedicated, proven by the awards they receive. from off-the-charts customer service satisfaction scores to top-notch safety recognition. Whether taking calls on the front line in customer service to our crews repairing the line, it's about doing what's best for you, our members. The employees who serve here at Mid-Carolina make a difference from the State House to your house by ensuring that all the principles we hold dear as a cooperative remain strong so that we can continue to bring you unparalleled service. At Mid-Carolina, it's the people who make all the difference. Our members and our employees form a pretty remarkable team. It is this dynamic that sets our business model apart and indeed sets us apart as a company. Our member owners make a difference in our communities by supporting and participating in the many opportunities to serve through Mid-Carolina Electric Cooperative. It was a guiding principle when we formed, and it remains so now, to make tomorrow better than today by serving others. As members of Mid-Carolina, we have a lot to celebrate, a lot to be proud of, and a great deal to look forward to as we anticipate the next 75 years. Each decade has seen challenges, but our goal has always been and still remains the same: provide quality electric services at competitive costs with a commitment to member satisfaction while making a difference in the lives of our members. That will remain our unwavering promise to each of you. The future indeed looks bright not only because of the day-to-day power we provide for our members, but in a very real sense, we understand that we are powering the dreams and the endless possibilities of an even better tomorrow for those who are yet to come.